Welcome back, student. Now the topic that we are going to discuss about the electronic surveillance. Just I am going to be open. Yes, these slides. Uh, in previous lecture, we will cover about the privacy information and some law. And but right now, electronic surveillance. First thing is that is a very important concept nowadays, and how the unauthorized person do this it is the first thing you need to be understand the concept of electronic with the use of different electronic devices, and we will basically catch some personal information of any other person. Okay, so the electronic surveillance is basically just I going to be highlight the concept here. It is the act of recording, observing, or listening to individual in real time, with or without their knowledge. I mean to say, a user have a no idea, and he not give you a permission without any her his permission. You are recording, you are observing and listening any individual talk, individual communications in real time. So the electronic surveillance is typically conducted secretively, mean to say that is a secret task, because in front of the person you cannot do this thing. You are using some hidden cameras, okay? You are using some recorders, okay? Different devices. We will later on discuss the different devices that will be normally people are using. Again, that is a something you are doing this act as a secretly and with the help of the hidden sources, so that it does not interfere with an individual normal activities, and because it is just for if you want to capture any person, if you want to keep a record of anyone, and you not give him her chance, he will be anybody is observing him. So for the positive perspective, some are basically using this, but as a normally this activity it involve one and a more observing, you can say documenting and individual action, that using again the camera, long range microphone, listening devices, as well as a monitoring cell, offices and home services that people are using. According to law enforcement agencies, they are involved. You have some agencies, even though raw hai, ISI hai, different agencies that working under the any specific state. These agencies use the electronic surveillances to collect the information. They have some objective, because they are basically uh, identifying and they are preventing some criminal activity and terrorist attention, that anybody is watching them. Okay, so the just like your street cameras, it is using for the if any person come and any theft, mean to say on street crimes, that is going to be increased, and nobody know about the unknown person who snatched the bike, money, and the mobile, laptop. Okay, on a form of a stream crime, then police and some defensive institute are using some cameras that they can be capture the face of the criminal. Okay, these are the basically things that are people are using for the positive law and order, for agencies are using for the positive perspective, so they have a data. And another important thing is that personal security and protection of your property, your assets, okay, your uh, that's a primary reason, and large and small corporation basically using to save their employers with the using the different techniques. Fine. So the in all cases, like in even though in our just like institute, I'm talking about the BIIT cameras, and the many students have. complain as, sir, my mobile is stolen, sir, my laptop in from a bag in my class. I have no idea offices. Then we have a just chance to see the cameras, and we will be try to capture the person, try to just with the through the camera we are identifying the person who the student and an outsider will do, any outsider or our student do this kind of act. Okay, it is again the concept of the electronic devices, that is basically surveillance using. Okay, now the we use the various electronic devices that provide the opportunity to collect the information on anyone at any time with the varying duration. Fine. And electronics or the surveillance devices vary in sizes, their uses, and that is a list. There are several more prominent methodology and devices that are used. Okay, now the next slide I will tell you people about some. Yes, look there. Here are the electronic surveillance devices. One is like your one devices is wire tipping. Okay, that's their usability, and what the devices and how the people are use this kind of devices. First, the wire tipping, that is a multiple wire connection connected internally to the target communication devices such as the telephone, enabling real time monitoring and recording. You are, even though you are, it is basically used for the, when the we people are using the landline number, telephone number, and we have no idea who will be the call, who are doing the which kind of but in a mobile phone, especially your Android phone, that is a basically solution right now. But even though in your mobile phone, your call will be recorded. Okay, your call will be recorded. Then we are using different software. My every call will be recorded. Then you can use the different software. That's the again the wiretapping, that telephone calling, then that enabling real time monitoring and recording who is calling and which kind of discussion normally are there. So the second device is the imaging that require the planting of a small electronic devices on a person in a strategical location, enabling individuals to the listen, copy, and record real-time conversation. Maybe you are familiar about this and look and different movies and dramas. So that is a real-time planting. Okay, the people are basically in the house, in the offices, where the people are normally pass out, and on a different places or different location, that where whenever they will be talked are highly sensitive. How mean to say institute are using this kind of hidden recorder, that every person, the any one is talking about the favor and against of our organization and what they are doing. So they especially the investigation institution, you are just like ISI again, and if we am talking about in Pakistan Atomic Energy, that they have a just to keep and record, even though your home and your offices, what they people are doing. Okay, because that's a highly sensitive institute. They don't want to leak any kind of information to their employees, that they people will be sharing any other and publicly concerned or non-concerned people. Fine. That is again the it is again small devices that on a person on a strategical location where they can be listen record the conversation. Pen register, that device placed on a telephone line used to the identify the telephone number and of call made from the uh, normal survived phone. Okay, it is again a pen register, and sometime we are using the pen register not just for call recording, call number. We just make a movie camera. Okay, it is a tape recorder. Your cameras, your pen register that have some hidden cameras and recorder that we use. And another is a, I guess in a next some are given. Yes. uh, Fourth one is the photographic surveillance that include the visual equipment such as a closed circuit television and digital cameras in various sizes used to photograph individually. Okay, that is a sense auto they are taking the photograph. Okay, and again visual equipment that show the that are using to the circuit television and digital camera and a wire agent information talk involve the planting of a recording or listening devices on a single person while engaging in conversation with other individuals, wire agent and informer. That is the number of new devices that use for this purpose for the electronic surveillance. Okay, that is using for recording, monitoring, and listening the individuals and the people. That for just the what the people are thinking. That's again just for the better decision for. But if we talk about the for the defensive perspective, that is allowed in a positive sense because you are some agents, some organizations, especially your defensive institution, they are keeping their eyes open, their eyes on even though employees and the public. But if uh, you have not allowed, you are not have a link with any agencies, have a link to any organization, defensive institute, and but you are doing this kind of activity that will be illegal. Okay, here are the some communication act that are passing out if the unauthorized, I mean to say institution, organization, if doing this kind of act, then they need to be considered as a I mean to say, not be afraid that using these kind of personal information. Fine. Now, the thing here I'm going to be discuss some Communication Act like 1934. If we talk about the Communication Act that established the Federal Communication Commission, and it gave the responsibility of regulation on all federal government that using radio, televisions, and broadcasting all telecommunication and international communication that originate the rule of the just like in Pakistan camera that there not be doing this any activity that will be harmful to any state and government and public. Okay, that's the act normally passed out and that's restrict the government according to the government law to ability to secretly intercept the communication of if you have no right, if you have not belong to any authorized and the legal institution, do you have no right to be record and uh, I mean to say uh, capture the conversation, record the conversation for and with any device. Okay, and now the Foreign Intelligence Surveillances Act, that is 1978. Again, that's intelligence information communicate between the foreign powers and agent of the foreign intelligence information. Again, the relating the capability, intention, and activity of the foreign government or agent. How to give the answer of the foreign agencies, the foreign government. Okay, that you have as a behalf of a country level, you have not any doing the any personal I mean to say information of your country. You didn't need to be leak of any kind of this thing. Next is the Electronic Communication Privacy Act. Electronic Communication Privacy Act has it has a, basically three main issues. First, again, the protection of a communication while transferring you messages and data to sender and a receiver. You should be secure. Okay, and the protection of communication held in an electronic storage, that is a storage point of view, which kind of devices you are using, and maybe the prohibited the devices from recording, dialing, routing, and addressing the signaling information with the search for the any I mean to say point of view in your fight, war, and anything. Okay, it is a communication, especially people are basically using for the intelligence institution. You know, in our different in um, I guess in 10 Muharram or meetings or in different occasion, in Pakistan, we are using different chambers and the mobile phone services are off. Okay, just for the big people are not be communicate and record, but for just for the security of the people and what they are doing on the road. Okay, this is a Electronic Communication Privacy Act. Then didn't need to be leak according any kind of information that will be harmful for the any public sector and publicly peoples. Okay, a number of people. Further class, we discuss about the fair information practices here, and fair information practices, that again the term for the set of guidelines that govern the collection and use of the personal data. And every organization, as well as you say, a state and a country have developed their own standard, their own rules, guideline rules that call them by different name. And all guidelines are basically uh, just to the stop the unlawful storage, unlawful personal data, eliminate the storage of inaccurate personal data. Okay, they are just doing the prevent the unauthorized person disclosure of this kind of data, of mean to say personal data, they not to be used. Okay, that's you need to be fair information practice and every time not do this kind of act. If we talk about the assess the government record tonight, the government has great capacity. They have a right, they have a stored data about each and every one of us and about the proceeding of its various organization to the various behalf of the various different organization is doing, even keep a record of our data and our family data and as a organization as a employee data. But just for the mean to say, uh, it is a right of a government for nobody and no for defensive, you can say defensive situation. And that's the Freedom of Information Act normally enable the public to gain access to certain government record, and Privacy Act prohibit government from concealing these all act and bookkeeping system, record keeping system. If you have a problem, if you have a like if you are anybody, if like in your family and your credit card will be used and you stolen your credit card and you have maybe no idea, but the credit card will be it is stolen, and anybody your debit and credit card, and you go in a bank and say, yeah, please, my debit and credit card now block it, but some amount 50 and 1 lakh, round of 1 lakh, anybody use it. Okay, then how you can capture? You give the request to the your bank, and your banker will be request and a last time where your credit card will be used on a in maybe the shopping, okay, physically, and retailing. There are also on a camera. Okay, they will be searched, and by date and time they are going to be identify the person who are come and who use the debit and credit card. And if the store and the retailer are not do this, you will be use the legal, I mean to say any government institute, maybe you involve the police, okay, who will be with you and doing this, doing your favor, how we can identify the person who will be do this. Okay, it is the all thing so that the government record that some institution, government allows some institution that enable to keep the record of the employees. Fine. Now the next slides. No, yes. Here I'm going to be discuss about the data breach. It is the concept that we are already maybe discussed in vulnerability of uh, exploit in a type of exploit. Now data breach is again how the data can be lost, how the hacker will be lost the data. Again, the definition defining data breach is a expose the confidential, sensitive, and or a protected information to an unauthorized person. It is some files in data breaches that are viewed or are shared without the permission of the employer, without the permission of the organization, but we are using this kind of information to unauthorized person. Okay, anyone can be at a risk of a data breach, from individual to high level enterprises or a government, because if your data is breached, then the individual as well as the organization as well as the your personal business as well as doing the enterprises, they face the risk. And one of the more important that can be put the other at a risk if there is a not protected, so that the data breaches that happen due to the weakness. It is just person will be harmed, he will be the blackmail. Okay, and the it is happening just for the weakness of the technology, weakness of user behavior. Okay, when you find that this kind of thing, then data breaching easily will be happen in our computer. The different devices, mobile devices, okay, we are use and more connectivity with the our telephone and I mean your mobile devices with the other devices. For this perspective, data will be slipped. Okay, and if I'm talking about the smartphone again, the smartphone, it is a sometimes the lack of the some software are just using for this purpose. Some hacker are using this software for the just for to get the information. Okay, now uh, we talk about the how the data will be. I mean, everything is fine, but the thing is that the every company need to be secure their data. Okay, every person need to be providing the security, how the data will be secure. Okay, how it will be not the access of the unauthorized employees. Okay, now the how to data breaches gonna happen. That is the four points where you can say that some for assumption that is a caused by a outsider hacker, okay, can easily access your data, but that's not always true. That is just uh, basically a methodology that the hacker are adopting. Fine. uh, Here if we mention first one. Okay, that is the reason basically how data breach happen. It might be sometime to be a track back into the intentionally attack. Okay, so the company as an individual and the employer need to be make a good infrastructure and keep on a eye how to can the protect. An accidental insider, that's example that would be employees using co-worker computer, reading files without having the proper authorization permission. And this success is unintentionally and no information is shared. However, because it was viewed by the unauthorized person, the data is considered to be leaked. If your system, your computer is using your even co-worker, your colleague, and you share your password, so some confidential file, maybe he's a right now basically he's a your co-worker, but as a but the your employer is not give the permission that your co-worker be take this kind of act. Okay, but if you share the password and your system, your co-worker, and he is using and reading and file and do something, then will be employer will be blame on you. How why you share this kind of information? Okay, it is then, but the data is breached right now. Fine. Now the second is a malicious insider. That's a person purposely accesses and or the share data with the intent of the causing harm to an individual or copy company. The malicious insider may be the legitimate authorized use of data, but the intent to use of the information in a inferior way. Mean to say you are investigating, you are doing this kind of fact, but you the I mean people are not allow you, but you are using inferior way, in a different way. You are using this kind of data. Okay. Loss of stolen devices, one of a big issue, in every time, whenever you open the newspaper, you are maybe the listen in a Rawalpindi, in Karachi, and Lahore, maybe in a different big cities in Pakistan, but the street crime is increasing. And the police are doing, defensive institute are doing something, and you need to be protect of your things, especially when you are going out. Okay, again, your laptop, your mobile, that is not safe. Okay, when an unencrypted and unlocked laptop or external hard drive, anything that contain a sensitive information go missing. Okay, just he are just using for some money, but and wherever he will be sale out, and the many hackers and the many institution are basically going on back it, and they are purchasing this kind of hard disks, this kind of devices, and create a maybe the problem for the real user. Okay, and the malicious outside criminal, there are again are a hacker who use various attack vector to gather information from the network or an individual. Okay, it is a outsider criminal that are hackers simply who are going to be attacked on a different, make a different strategy, and slow down your system is okay. Denial server, and some with the using the viruses, using some spam, anything that they want to just access your system, and from your system they can get some information, your personal information, and organization personal information. Fine. Okay, class, that is how data is breach will be happen. And now the second video is going to be end. In the third video we will discuss about the electronic discovery. Okay, Allah Hafiz for the second video.